Let the river run. Oh no. Valentina, I just want you to know that I'm definitely going to make Let the River Run a thing for this podcast.
Oh no. I mean, it's such a great song,
It's a great song, but we can't.
Don't ruin Carly Simon for me. Like, you can't do that.
Well, I also don't think I'm ruining it because I'm really not doing the song.
Okay.
Please like this. Please like this. Please like this.
Welcome to Please Like This. I'm Valentina.
I'm Mark.
And today we're talking about Working Girl, a movie about a Staten Island career girl faking her way to the top. Okay, well, let's get into it then.
Yeah.
What did you think of this movie, Mark?
Well, I really enjoyed it. It was just a movie that I was in. Like, I was just I didn't find my, you know how like there are movies where you start watching it and you're like criticizing it internally, but there are other movies where you're just like watching it and like taking it in. I just took this movie in. I just like I just absorbed it.
Cool. Yay.
I feel like the one thought I did have was at one point I feel like I thought like really the only thing that really makes this movie sing is it is cast perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, so then before we get too into it, let's say what that movie was. Yeah, so we're talking about Working Girl from
Not to be
1988.
confused with the Shangela song Working Girl with a Q.
Okay, see, that is something I would have never known. Okay, so this movie, Working Girl, came out December 23rd, 1988. It was a Christmas release. It was directed by Mike Nichols, written by Kevin Wade. It made a lot of money. It made $102 million.
Whoa.
It was praised at the time. Praised still. Praised still by me. Starring in billing order, which is a thing that we'll have to talk about. Billing order is starring Harrison Ford, Sigourney Weaver, Melanie Griffith.
Yeah, because she wasn't a star yet.
Yeah. Well, no, this is 1988. She had already been in a few big things, but, like, she hasn't...
She wasn't Harrison Ford, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. Like, because Harrison Ford, Star Wars was 10 years before. Mm-hmm. Like, the first Star Wars was 1977.
So he's already done with the trilogy.
Yeah.
The first trilogy.
Sigourney Weaver, she's already had, like, Alien was a couple years before this. Ghostbusters was, like, 5 years before this. She had, like, a bunch of stuff already. So Sigourney Weaver had already been a literal star.
Oh, yeah.
And Melanie Griffith, this was, like, probably her first, at least, starring role.
Yeah.
In a movie this big.
Oh, yeah.
So, she's already... people already knew her name, probably since she was born, because she's
Tippi Hedren's daughter.
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson is, like...
I know.
It's like
third generation nepotism.
Yeah, it's Hollywood legacy.
Yeah, like, it's a lot.
One of the facts I was looking up for when I was looking up stuff about this movie is that Melanie Griffith won a Golden Globe for this movie, and she was Miss Golden Globe. You know, yeah, that thing where they like have like celebrities' kids be like,
yes,
like,
and then
drag
Dakota
people around.
Johnson was Miss Golden Globe like in the 2000s.
Yeah, so Melanie Griffith is currently like the only person to hold that title, but I bet in like the next 10 years, Dakota Johnson is gonna win a Golden Globe for something.
Wait, hold on a second. Did Laura Dern win the Golden Globe this year for Marriage
Oh,
Story?
she did.
Because she was a Miss Golden Globe as well. Because her father. Well, her parents are both actors, Diane Ladd and what's her name? Bruce Dern. Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, so now Laura Dern.
Now it's Laura Dern as well, and then so when Dakota Johnson does it, she'll be like the record she breaks will be like the second person or like the second generation
family legacy. Yeah, she'll be.
Yeah. But
it'll be a fun fact that her
Yes.
and her mother did it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, speaking of Golden Globes, this movie won 4 of them. 4. It was nominated for 6 at the Golden Globes.
Okay.
Oh no, wait, it won 3. Oops, I was miscounting. It won Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy.
Okay.
It won Best Actress for Melanie Griffith.
Earned.
Yes. Then Best Supporting Actress for Sigourney Weaver.
Earned.
Yeah. And then Best Original Song by Carly Simon. Wait, no, it is 4. I did not miscount.
Uh-oh.
I miscounted the second time.
Valentina is doing math.
Math's hard, y'all. Okay. Best Original Song for Carly Simon was also one.
Great song.
Let the River Run. Yeah.
An insane song.
I love it so much.
So much of this movie
Let the river
should not work.
run. I know.
Continue.
Okay. But yeah, and then later on at the Oscars, it won Best Original Song at the Oscars, and it was nominated for 6, including Best Actress for Melanie Griffith, Best Supporting Actress for Joan Cusack and Sigourney Weaver. I love that Joan Cusack nomination. It's so good. She was nominated for this movie and what's the Kevin Kline movie where he's gay?
Addams Family 2. Addams Family Back in the Habit. What's it called?
Addams Family Values?
Addams Family Values.
Oh, my
Thank you.
goodness. No.
Addams Family 2 Electric Boogaloo. She wasn't nominated for that? It was so good. In and Out is the movie you're thinking
In and
of.
Out. In and Out. Yes.
Which
Oh,
she's
goodness.
great in.
She's absolutely terrific. But, so this movie is from 1988. My parents got married the year after in 89.
Wow.
I was born 8 years later.
And
in
these events are
1997.
all related.
To be like, this movie, I obviously was not born in when this movie was released.
Okay.
I saw this movie on TV when I was maybe like 10 for the first time.
Oh.
So I probably saw it a good 20 years after this movie was released in 2008. At least. And I think like this is just like my background now of this movie is just, when I was a kid, I don't know that this will be a surprise to anybody who actually knows me. I think it'll just like provide context and be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So when I was a kid, I did not play with like dolls much.
You play with film reels?
No,
You put wigs on film reels and put them in Barbie houses?
No, I mean, when I would go over to my friend Parker's house and she would want to play with Barbies and stuff, and she would want to play with dolls, I would pull out my notebook and I would write down what we were doing and then write a story about it. That's what I would do.
Oh, Valentina.
Yes.
You know how some people are like, nature versus nurture. Nature versus nurture. What is the debate here?
Uh-huh.
You are like so 1,000% an example of nature.
I'm just like, I was born this way.
There's like no world in which you don't love movies. There's no world in which you do not. Like, that's such
Yeah. So yes, I very much have always been this way.
Yep.
But you know how like little kids, they play house and you're like, oh, this is like, we've got our little pretend kids and like some of the people are the kids and someone's the mommy and someone's the daddy and whatever. I would always either be the dad when I was playing with my friend Parker, or I would be the friend who doesn't have any kids and is 26 years old and is working and has a job in the big city. I'm not even fucking kidding you.
That's not a character in the play acting.
No,
You said the kids were like, we're playing house, and you were like, great. I live in an apartment.
I wanted to be 26 years old.
I have a Metro card.
I don't know why I wanted to be 26. I always remember, like, we'd be like, oh, okay, so how old are you? She'd be like, I'm 45 or something. I don't know. She'd be like, however my friend Parker would be like, however old her mom was or something at the time. She'd be like, that's how old I am. And I would be like, okay, I'm 26. I'm living in the big city. I've got a cool job where I go to work every day and I like carry a briefcase and my parents gifted me a telescope when I was like, I don't know, like 8 or something.
And you said, where's my briefcase?
No, well, so it came in a box that like had a handle, and it was a small telescope. It wasn't like a big thing. And it was this whole like kit, and the box, the container that it came in was like a traveling container. So it had a handle and it kind of looked like a briefcase, and so I used to carry it around with a bunch of papers in it and pens, and I would take it to the park with me. In this blue
This is
box.
so fun. This is so cute.
I'll have to find some pictures or something. But
I would love a photo of baby Valentina carrying around a briefcase.
Well, no,
I
I wasn't a baby. I was older, but I was maybe like 8 or 9 at this point. But...
Everyone is a baby when you're under 12. And
Okay. That was me. I wanted to be a career girl. I wanted to be a working girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this movie, and I saw like... I started watching Gilmore Girls, and like Lorelai's a working mother and stuff, and I saw like 9 to 5, and I saw like a bunch of different things that were like about career girls, and so I was like, yes, that is what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a career girl. I don't know what that career is yet, but I want to be a career girl.
Yeah, I want to work in an office.
Yes. That is my background on this movie. It just exemplifies what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah. And this is a Valentina pick. I have never watched
obviously.
this. Yeah, completely a Valentina. I have seen half of this movie within the past year. I watched the first half, and then I fell asleep. But it has nothing to do with the movie itself. If I start watching a movie at 9:00, I will fall asleep at 10.
Oh yeah, same.
And I never remember it, but I always will. And then I'll wake up an hour later and be like, where am I? Oh, I fell asleep. I missed a whole movie.
I missed the whole movie.
I missed a whole movie. I missed the ending. So I saw like 8 months ago, I saw up to like right after she woke up with Harrison Ford.
Okay.
So pretty early in the movie. So I've not seen most of this. And even that, like the part I was watching, I was tired during. So I really didn't have any collection of it. And so this is my real first experience like actually watching it, and I loved it.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. It also just feels like this movie sings. This movie does so well because it's perfectly casted. But also I feel like so many elements of this movie could have ruined it.
Yes.
Like it just landed, it was just on that perfect tightrope where it like feels like at any moment everything's going to fall apart, but they kept it together and it just was a perfect landing. To mix metaphors. Tightrope walkers landing.
Well, tightrope walkers who then do like a series of backflips at the end of it, and then have a perfect landing.
That's what this movie did.
Yep.
This movie is a tightrope walker. And I was very into it. And I was very attracted to Harrison Ford.
Yeah, me too. At some point, in my notes, I wrote down, where did I write down? Both men are such insufferably beautiful assholes.
Yeah.
Both Harrison Ford and Alec Baldwin, I mean...
In this movie are just like...
In this movie...
What does Alec Baldwin... This is not... In terms of working girl discourse, this is not the place anybody has ever started at where I'm about to. What was Alec Baldwin's job?
I don't know.
He worked on a boat?
I think I don't know. Because there's talk of like him getting a loan for a boat. I think the loan was to like buy a personal boat.
Oh, so he doesn't work on a boat? He just wanted.
I don't know.
He wanted.
I don't
a boat?
who fucking cares?
It doesn't matter at all.
Like, Alec Baldwin is not the one we're rooting for to have a job in this movie.
No one cares about Alec Baldwin in this movie. But when he was talking about it, I was like, I can never believe Alec Baldwin was working on a boat.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin is not believable as a sailor. I think Alec Baldwin did
I mean,
this is unrelated. I think Alec Baldwin did a good job with this role, but I also feel like at no point was I like, you are this character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think he worked in like the schlubby kind of thing they were going for with like the New Jersey home side she had. And I also don't think...
Staten Island! Staten Island! The Staten Island Ferry!
Oh, you're right. I'm so dumb.
How could you forget?
I mean, where we should start with talking about this movie is that opening.
Okay. One of the best... I distinctly remember discussing this movie with you and Amy, and just like the opening of just like opening credits. It's the Hudson River and like shots of the skyline with Carly Simon's voice just singing Let the River Run. It is it's just one of the most perfect openings to a movie that I have ever experienced.
Yeah. And so like almost like prayerful.
Yeah, well, I mean, the lyrics to the song are like the New Jerusalem. And
yeah,
stuff.
I had the lyrics on and I was like, I love what's happening right now. The lyrics are insane for a movie about like New York working. Like,
yeah. All I wanted when I was a kid was to be a grown adult woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's truly all I wanted. Like, I didn't want anything else. I just wanted to skip my childhood, skip the 20s. I just wanted to be like 35 and working in a secure job, partner track. I don't know. I don't know what kind of firm I'm working at.
Also, this entire time that I'm so dumb. The entire time I was watching this movie, anytime they started talking about business, I was like, yeah, sounds good. Oh no?
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, it's a merger. Got it. Business. Like they could have just said business, and I would have been like, wow.
Like in Bend It Like Beckham when she just wrote jargon.
Yes, like absolutely.
Like football jargon.
Like if you just write like blah 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 blah, I'd be like,
yeah,
absolutely. You're really wow. She's really good at this. Like, wow. Tiff, what's her name? It's not Tiff. Tess
McGill.
If you expect me, Valentina, I have to tell you right now.
I know.
If we're going to continue this podcast, you have to be aware that I will never learn a character's name.
I will only know the characters' names that speak to my heart.
Got it. And so most of what we are watching.
Well, half of what we are watching.
Anything you pick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
you will be
anything
like,
I pick, I will have like an almost encyclopedic knowledge of, because I am me.
And even the things I pick, I'll be like, I loved Melanie Griffith. Ashanti was so great in Muppets Wizard of Oz.
Okay, I was like, what is an Ashanti? And then we're gonna watch
The Muppets Wizard of Oz.
I've seen that one.
Oh, never mind.
I think that's like one of the few Muppets things I've seen.
What a weird one to be the one you've seen. Anyway,
I've seen that one, and I vaguely remember the Christmas one, but I don't like actually remember it. I think I might have seen it in school and possibly fallen asleep.
Here's the thing: we're gonna at some point we're definitely doing Muppets: A Christmas Carol, and Valentina's gonna disappoint me.
I don't know that I will.
You will.
When I was a kid, I wasn't interested in puppets. I was interested in Working Girl.
And I am a full adult, and I'm still like, show me those puppets. Show me the puppets. I want to see them.
Should I do a summary of this movie?
Yeah. We'll put it anywhere. Do it.
All right. So Working Girl is about Tess McGill. We know that she's from Staten Island because we see her on her birthday. What's the word for when you're on a boat?
Commute? Ferry. Sailing?
I don't know. She's like riding on the Staten Island Ferry. Is that?
Yeah, that's fine.
She's riding the Staten Island Ferry? You ride a ferry? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not driving it.
Like you ride the subway?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, starting over. Okay. Tess McGill. Tess McGill riding the Staten Island Ferry. Carly Simon's Let the River Run plays.
Let the river run.
Joan Cusack is her best friend.
Picture Joan Cusack.
With
add
the biggest
makeup
hair.
and hair. And then once you've added makeup and hair, add more makeup and
Double
hair.
it.
Double it. Double it. I am obsessed with how big and simultaneously thin the hair is in this movie.
No. But yeah, that's how we start the movie. Seeing Melanie Griffith and Joan Cusack's big ass hair on the Staten Island Ferry. And they're riding into the city. Tess McGill, Melanie Griffith, goes into work. She works at a stock something or other. I don't know what she does, but she
does stocks.
Yeah, she's turned down for a promotion or some kind of training program, and so her boss is like, but we actually have this. We set up this thing for you to go to see the worst man in the world, Kevin Spacey. Meets with her under the guise of that he's gonna hire her for a secretarial position or something, but he doesn't actually need anyone. He just wants to hit her on her, I guess, because he's disgusting even in character. So then she moves on, quits her job.
Yep, and goes to Olympia Dukakis.
Yes, Olympia Dukakis. That's one of the
there.
fantastic guest stars or little cameos in this movie.
It just shows up like we're not supposed to be like, that's Olympia Dukakis.
Yeah. She's the person that's placing Tess McGill at the employment agency, and Tess goes to get this new job and working for Sigourney Weaver, the magnificent Sigourney Weaver, playing the role of Catherine Parker, who oh my god,
when we're talking
she
about
walks
a star, yeah, she just glides in.
Sigourney Weaver walks into this movie. She is Tess's boss. She's Melanie Griffith's boss. And she's going on a ski trip. After a couple weeks of them talking and doing stuff and
getting along,
working and getting along.
And she promises Melanie Griffith's Tess McGillis. She promises her a two-way relationship.
Yeah.
Where bring me your ideas and I'll advocate for you.
Yeah. She says oh yeah, I'll help you. I'm not one of those bosses that's not gonna help you. I'm gonna actually help you, whatever. And
spoiler alert, she's a liar.
And then Tess just brings her this idea about some merger for TV stations or radio stations.
Listen,
to buy radio
business talk. She's trying to buy. She's like, let's buy radio stations, and Sigourney Weaver's like, great idea.
Yeah. And Sigourney Weaver's like, okay. And then she goes on a ski trip, breaks her leg. Mm-hmm. So she's out of commission for a couple weeks. And so in the meantime, Tess takes over the office, and she's only supposed to water the plants and cancel some RSVPs and whatever. But she sees an opportunity and takes it.
And finds out that Sigourney Weaver is going to take her idea and present it as her own. Mm-hmm. Instead of giving Melanie Griffith credit.
So Tess, tries to set up this deal on her own behind Catherine's back and meets Harrison Ford, meets Jack Traynor, which is, one of the most boring names in the world.
It's a terrible name.
But it's Harrison Ford, so
yeah.
we'll
give him a pass.
But so Harrison Ford, they meet at this party. Harrison Ford doesn't tell her who he is,
which is dumb. Continue.
Which is bad. And she's already taken Valium because she was nervous to go to this party and to set up this deal and everything. And her friend Joan Cusack gives her Valium, and she takes it, and then
Valium and tequila.
And that is an equation for Tess falling asleep at the party. Outside in the cab.
No. Yeah, she gets in a cab, falls asleep halfway in it, and the cab driver is just fine with it.
I know. So Harrison Ford takes her back to his apartment, and
he's
wakes
honorable.
Yeah, probably. Tess has this meeting with Harrison Ford, and she's like, what? Who? You're the guy from the night before. Why didn't you tell me who you were? And he was like, well, because it'd be all business, blah, 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 and I just wanted to sleep with you. And she was like, is it because you just wanted to sleep with me? And he's like, no. And so then they enter this deal, and that's not sex talk. That's just business talk, I guess. And so then the rest of the movie is really just Tess pretending to be Catherine. It's Melanie Griffith pretending to be her boss and not her boss's secretary. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end, Catherine Sigourney Weaver calls and is like, hey, my leg's all better. I'm coming back. Yeah, so she's got to get everything ready and for Catherine to come back. And she comes back and turns out Catherine Sigourney Weaver and Harrison Ford had been dating before the ski accident.
Oh! What? And they haven't broken up at all.
Yeah, and they're still technically together, except like Harrison Ford is the worst boyfriend in the world in this case, because like his girlfriend is out in the hospital, and like he didn't even go to see her.
I forgive it.
I know. I mean, like, he was gonna break up with her. That's the whole thing, is like he was gonna break up with her at the ski trip.
And also, it's the 80s. They didn't have planes. They didn't have those.
They had helicopters.
They didn't have planes. I mean, we were lucky they had steam power, right? That's the 80s.
Yeah. Catherine's back. She tries to get back with her boyfriend, and he doesn't care for her, and he leaves. And but Tess left her notebook, her planner, and Sigourney Weaver finds out about the meeting, goes to the meeting, and is like, what the hell? This woman is an imposter!
And fakes an injury to get sympathy. I was obsessed with her faking that injury.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver in that last scene is so good. I love her so much. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. But, you know, I think, like, the moral of this entire episode is, you know how little boys, like, when you ask them what they want to be when they grow up, they're like, fireman, superhero, whatever. Mm-hmm. My answer was, really? That was your answer?
Yeah, I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to curate a museum.
How old were you at this point?
Like 6.
Wow.
Which is so not me, but...
That's funny.
I read Greek history something or other, and I liked it, so
When you were 6?
When I was young. Maybe not 6. Probably like 7 or 8, actually. But I was reading a lot young, and I read like Greek mythology stuff young, and I was like, I guess I just love history. So I wanted to be an architect.
Yeah, okay. Well, you wanted to be an architect. I wanted to be Sigourney Weaver in this movie.
What do you want to be? Sigourney Weaver. That's my little girl voice.
Sigourney Weaver. That sounded awful.
That's a witch.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, and so then the end of the movie is just Tess proving that she was the one who actually came up with the idea in the first place, and Harrison Ford backs her up, and the guy...
Because she reads the papers.
Yeah. I love that, when she's like, okay, so I came up with it because I read this, and then I read this, and then I read this.
And she, like, kept it all detailed.
I know. I mean, like, she's smart.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. This movie does a great job of showing her consistently as someone operating the best she can in whatever system she's in, and includes, like, being organized and just doing what she can to get through. And she sees, like, this crazy opportunity to... first she experiences terrible heartbreak and a terrible betrayal from her boss. And then she's like, you know what? I have nothing left to lose.
Yeah.
And so she
it's
does
great.
it. And and all those skills that she just constantly had, she like finally uses to the best of her ability, and it's so good.
Was there anything else in this movie that happened before we like?
Really well, it ends. I think.
Oh, right.
I think I love the beginning of this movie is like astonishing, but the ending of this movie where she finally gets her own office job, the like head of the industry that she was working on the business deal with rewards her and gets her an office, and she walks in and sits at the cubicle where her secretary works because she doesn't know she has a secretary.
I know.
And it's just so good. And like the secretary was like talking on her phone in the office, and it's just, she's just so overwhelmed in the tiniest way that this is real. And like constantly throughout the movie, anytime someone's like coffee, she's like, I'll go get it. Like even, and it's just
she's
like
just
such
trained of like after
it's just such
however
an instinct
long
for her.
working as a secretary or like as someone who gets coffee.
It happens in like the meetings.
That's who I'm gonna get. That's who I am.
I think the funniest I laughed during this movie is the funniest I laughed. The time I laughed the hardest was when she's in the first meeting with Harrison Ford, and she's like pretending to be this like it's her first time pretending to be this like big business lady, and she sits down, and then he's like, coffee, and she's like, okay, stands up and then immediately sits down when she sees the secretary at the door, and she's like, oh, that wasn't me, like that wasn't for me. And it just happens throughout the movie in like various ways, and that last moment is like funny but also touches your heart.
It's so
because
good.
it's just
and
so
then when
how
she
far
calls
she's come.
her friends, and then she calls
and they're yelling
Joan Cusack to say like, I have an office, like I am the person, like
she
I'm
has a
the person
corner
the secretary
office
works for,
with
and
a window.
Joan Cusack is in like the bullpen of like the stock company
market
at the
where she
beginning.
started.
The stock market, the entire stock market.
The entire stock market.
And she's just in the bullpen of that company, and she like shouts to all the secretaries there, like, Tess got an office, she got an office, and it's like they all are rooting for her because it's like she's one of that, like she's one of us, she was a secretary who actually
she's a woman,
proved herself, and she's a success story, and that's it. And I love it.
She didn't have the contemporary education, but she just
and she's not like Sigourney
fought
Weaver's
her way
character
in and is
who,
killing
like,
it.
Yeah, who has
Wesley
$1
or
million
whatever.
and went to Wesleyan and like
Wesleyan.
And like went to
Speaks
a
German.
private school. Sigourney Weaver's character had all of the support that was required for a woman to make it, quote unquote, in business in the 80s that like would have made it kind of easier, so, you know?
Yeah.
And Tess didn't.
Ugh.
She was just a working girl from Staten Island.
Just a working girl. She came to work. Work. She came to work. This is Shangela.
Okay, cool.
I'll send you that music video. You know what? Our next episode will just be the Shangela music video for Working Girl.
Like a live, live reactions and stuff.
It's just 5 minutes.
Be a short episode. But I
came to work. And then the final shot, calling back to the first shot, as it like zooms out on her corner office, her like talking to her friends, and we just see, I think it's not When the River Runs, but it's a song that is very similar.
Yeah. Well, it's on.
It's Carly Simon.
Yeah, it's Carly Simon. I think it's like the instrumental that they use throughout the movie. Yeah, it is. It actually is.
When the River Runs.
Yeah.
Well, When the River Runs starts back up again.
Let the River Run.
Let the River Runs. Let the what?
Let the River Run.
God, I went to so much church. And that just has such... I went to so much church, and that song has such church energy. Let the River Run.
Yeah, but...
Go make it... anyway.
It was recorded with, like, a choir and everything, so...
Yeah, it just
Makes
feels
sense.
it. But it just like, and it zooms out and we see all these like buildings and we see her in her office, but all the men surrounding her, and she made it. And the music is playing. It's just like beautiful and so effective. And like
She's so like
I think,
proud of herself, but also like
yeah,
surprised still, like still in shock that it happened and it's real. She succeeded.
yeah. And the secretary is like, "What do you expect of me?" And she's like, "We'll figure it out, but call me Tess."
Call me Tess and never make me coffee unless you're going to get some for yourself.
Yeah. I respect you.
Yeah. Because she knows how it feels. Like,
And that's how it ends. I respect you. Is essentially Melanie Griffith says, "I respect you, other woman," and the movie ends, and it's beautiful.
but yeah, like, because Sigourney Weaver's character didn't know what it was like because she was given that job. Like, she was handed that job, or at least like a job that directly led to the
Her
job that she
entire
had.
life has been orchestrated
Planned
and
out.
planned to lead her into this thing. And it is
Yeah.
still impressive that she's like a woman running in these
Absolutely. And like
circles.
didn't decide to be like a housewife.
You can see how like her
She
having
has
to, like,
private
fight.
school energy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But you can also see how like her having to like fight into these circles and like work her way through them has made her
Yeah.
the person who would steal Tessa's ideas and label them as her own and then like work to, you know what I mean?
Well, because she, like, Sigourney Weaver is the epitome of, like, the career girl myth that, like, she sees herself as, like, one of the few women around her in these business meetings and stuff. And so she's like, okay, well, I have to be, like, one of the boys. I gotta be, like, just as good as them. And it's like, another woman is gonna be competition to me because there's only so many spots here. And Tess doesn't necessarily see that perspective because she's like, okay, but only men have hurt me in this way and women have supported me, so she doesn't have the same perspective as Sigourney Weaver's character.
I do feel like this movie maybe needs like, it needs a male villain just because it doesn't read that all of these men are like, yes,
Yeah.
like this movie is a fantasy.
Well, okay, so this movie
It's
was
a beautiful fantasy, but it's a fantasy.
yes, it was written, directed, and produced by men. There was not a woman voice on it except for Carly Simon in the opening credits.
Yeah.
I think, like, the thing is, though, women watching it will be like, will see this and be like, okay, these men are all, like, they're not villains. Like, the villain in this movie is Sigourney Weaver. But these men, other than Harrison Ford, really are villainous in that they are obstacles that she has to jump over to get to her end goal.
Yeah.
And like the bosses at the beginning of the movie that like don't really give her an opportunity. They just set her up with some guy who wants to get in her pants, and then Kevin Spacey who just wants to get in her pants, and then even the Trask, the boss of the company that she wants to make the deal with.
Yeah.
They are just obstacles. They're all like people that are going to assume that Tess has no skills or not necessarily has the skill or doesn't necessarily have the skills required for the job that she's going after. And like everybody's doubting her along the way of like this merger unless she's with Harrison Ford and Harrison Ford is backing her and stuff. And like those are just things that like women experience and stuff, and she experiences it differently than Sigourney Weaver's character because she's not rich and doesn't have
trained.
like a
She's training herself. She's taking
Yes.
like speech classes. She uses Sigourney Weaver's like phone tapes.
Oh yeah,
or,
her
like,
tape
notes.
recorder,
Yeah, the notes that as like a voice.
her
training.
voice notes
Yeah, to like try and fit into the world.
to get rid of her Staten Island accent.
Yeah. I have something really profound to say about the men in this movie. I wrote, these guys are douche. That's it.
Singular? They all make
Yeah.
up one douche.
Yeah, I wrote, these guys are douche. Okay, that being said, Joan Cusack in this movie.
Let's talk about her.
I just love Joan Cusack. She's
so
one of
good.
those. She's an actress like she reminds me of like Madeline Kahn, and that they're an actor who, when they are on screen, every time you look at them, it is a moment. They are doing something that is comedic or necessary with their face, with their hands, with their hair. Like, it's just all, it's all consistent. They find like 40 moments in a line of dialogue because it's just all a moment.
Yeah.
And it's so good. Also, I feel like it is necessary. Well, we didn't talk about, anyway, Joan Crawford. Not Joan Crawford. Joan Cusack.
Yeah.
It's just so funny in this movie at all times.
She's very good. She's
Yeah.
good at what she does.
I don't know if this might be controversial. I am surprised that Joan Cusack got a nomination for this movie just because she's really not in it that much.
Yeah, but I feel like that's just...
And she makes a meal out of her time, but like
Yeah.
it's like literally nothing.
Yeah.
She's like 3 actual scenes where she's talking, and then 2 of them are like she gets married and we just see her go into a car, and then at the end we see her yelling but don't really hear her yelling to like about that's Tess.
Yeah, we don't see her... We don't hear what she's saying, but like we see her yelling and stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
we know what she's doing. She good.
Yeah. What do you think about Melanie Griffith's haircut?
It's not great. It's
Right?
It's not
At
good.
times it's weird. There
It
were
should
a
have
couple
been longer.
or not even like longer. It should have been something else. I didn't necessarily mind the length. It was just like weird how it framed her face. And there
Yeah.
were moments when it was fabulous. But then there were other moments when I was like, is that Margaret Thatcher?
I mean, when
It's
she
it's
like
weird.
when she clips it back for the first meeting with Harrison Ford, it's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. That's Ivana Trump.
Yeah.
Like it's all these weird women who are like, why is this where this is going?
I mean, it's a hairstyle that was very popular in 1988, and
yeah. And
thankfully
she's
it
gorgeous.
stayed in 1988. So
But the clothing and the hair, all the hair choices and like clothing in this movie is like so deliberate. Like, I loved that when she goes into her first meeting as like faking being a big business lady, she wears the exact same outfit that Sigourney Weaver wore when she first met her. And I was like, this is so good.
because
This is
she's
so,
using
like, you
hair,
see her-
Sigourney Weaver's clothes.
Yeah. You see her literally like putting on like, okay, I have to be Sigourney Weaver instead of
I don't like. Okay, one thing I absolutely love about this movie is that it happens in like this. The entire plot happens in the span of like 2 weeks. So
oh yeah.
she is entirely broke because she hasn't gotten a paycheck yet
Oh,
from this new job. 'Cause,
You're
you know,
right.
it takes like
It takes like a month. Okay.
It takes like a month when you first start a job for like everything to process and you to get your first paycheck. So she hasn't gotten a paycheck from this new company yet.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because also I thought about it like, really, you two love each other and this soon? Okay. Current events shine a different light on this thing that I'm going to say, but I have always been very like picky about this. At the wedding scene in this movie, they go into the bathroom and Melanie Griffith is talking to the bride, and Harrison Ford comes right out of the stall after peeing and flushing and grabs Tess and drags her out of the bathroom without washing his hands.
Okay, I didn't think of it as him dragging her out. I thought she was going willingly because they were like interrupted and trying to get out.
It doesn't matter. He left without washing his hands.
You are missing the biggest problem.
What, that he's in the girl's bathroom?
No. Well, no. He puts his hand in his mouth.
Yeah! None of this is usable audio because it's just me screaming.
Yes.
But
he puts his hand in his mouth and does like a...
And Harrison Ford doesn't
mouth pop.
sit when he pees. You think that man sits? No. He's gonna assert his masculinity anytime. No. I mean, like, he's not gonna sit when he pees, is my point. Like,
was he sitting while peeing?
No.
Then why are you saying this?
Because
I don't understand.
He was, like, I'm assuming he was touching his penis after he peed to put it away. To put it away. So he should have washed his hands.
It's such an insane thing. He was just like making up excuses. Let's get out of here. Put tongue in, put your finger in your mouth, pop after going to the bathroom. No, gross. You're a monster.
Disgusting. Oh my god. Okay, like that's why I was saying, like, obviously current events shine a different light on that scene, but also I have always been
Corona,
like a person that's
this movie doesn't work.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't work in times of coronavirus. Valentina, like, Valentina, I hate to tell you this. But I think I need to say it. Just going forward.
What?
I'm going to say that all of the things that we are going to watch or play or see do not work in terms of social distancing.
Okay. Good to know.
I gotta let you know.
Thanks for the reminder. I'm gonna need it again.
Anything else?
I don't know. I mean, I just love this movie.
Yeah. It's great.
It was very formative for me, as made clear by this entire episode.
I really enjoyed it. I would watch it again. But I would want to watch it with other people.
Yeah, I've never seen it with other people, and I would love to do that.
I would love to watch it with a group of people.
Okay.
Which won't happen for months. Anyway.
At least.
I liked it a lot. I laughed. I had emotional moments. I think this is the first time I've seen Melanie Griffith act. And
really?
Yeah, I don't know anything else she's been in, but I know she's like famous.
Yeah.
And I thought she was great. The cast is perfect. Mm-hmm. Everybody does their job to a T. Mm-hmm. And it's just funny and emotional and lovely. It's like the kind of movie that I just love to see. This, 9 to 5, The Birdcage, like, also Mike Nichols.
Yeah, also Mike Nichols. Mm-hmm. All right.
On that note, thank you for listening.
Yeah. If you don't have anything else to add, I love this movie.
But yeah, this movie is fantastic. I would say watch it, and I'm probably going to watch it again.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking with me, Valentina. Thank you for showing me this movie. Thank you for giving me an excuse to watch this movie.
Thank you for letting me talk about it. Thank you for sharing your time.
Please like this. Please like this. Please like this.